Hi, now that you've seen the design challenge, I'm going to tell you about the unit of work Year 5 would be doing. This unit covers the technology essential learnings by the end of Year 5. It clearly covers the ways of working dot point, which is, students are able to generate design ideas that match requirements. It also covers both knowledge and understanding sections. Technology as a human endeavour is covered by the dot point. Aspects of appropriateness influence product design and production decisions. And information, materials and systems is addressed through the dot point. Techniques and tools are selected to appropriately manipulate characteristics of resources to meet design ideas. I chose this topic because children always enjoy a challenge, and they always want to outsmart the teacher. I also chose this topic because communication is a big part in life, and without the ability to communicate, society wouldn't exist. The third reason is because it involves flight of objects, and the science behind flight is both engaging and interesting. The main aim of this unit is to create a device that can send a message across a room in silence and with accuracy. Although, that's not all the unit involves. To introduce this unit, I would advertise to the class using this poster. Once everyone has seen the poster and are wondering what it is about, I would then give them the design challenge video, as seen earlier before. The first lesson would be a brainstorming lesson, where the children would plot down different ideas to get the message across. The students would need to think about the situation Ron and Harry would be in the classroom. So when brainstorming, the children might think of resources that are easily accessible in the classroom. Noise would be a factor also, because this message is a secret and they don't want to get caught. And finally, it needs to be accurate. We don't want the message going to Draco Malfoy. At the completion of the design, the children will need to explain their device to the class. This will include how it was made, materials used, and research behind how it flies. Through this design challenge will also be the integration of science. Whilst researching devices to send a message, the children will learn about energy and change, how the energy from me is transferred to the device being thrown. They will also get an introduction to Newton's first law, which is, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and how gravity affects motion. When researching paper aeroplanes and flying objects, they will also delve into the meaning of the phrase aerodynamics of flight. The aerodynamics of flight are the four forces that contribute and counteract flight. The shape of the wings of an aircraft allow wind to move quickly across the top of an aircraft and slowly underneath the wings, so this slow wind pressure creates lift. Lift is the first force. It is also known as Bernoulli's principle. Students will also learn about thrust, which is the second force, and the way it pulls the aircraft forward. In a real plane, thrust is created by the propellers, although in paper planes or other objects, the thrust is created by a person throwing the plane. Both lift and thrust allow the plane to fly, although there are two forces that counteract the ability to fly. Students will touch on weight and learn that weight plus gravity combine to act as a pulling force on the plane. This force is pulling the plane down to earth. The final force they will learn about is drag. Drag is created simply by the aircraft's existence. It is described as the resistance of an object moving through a fluid, for example, air. In order for an aircraft to fly, thrust must be equal or greater than drag, and lift must be equal or greater than weight for it to fly also. Assessment. Firstly, peer assessment would be a great way to showcase the class's work. Each student could describe their final product, then give an example of a test to the class. The test could be aiming for a hula hoop, as shown in the previous section. The students could give points for accuracy, quietness, whether it's easy to make, and how it looks. The second form of assessment would be self-assessment. This would be simply writing a paragraph on the good things about their design and the things that could be improved. Thirdly, I don't want this challenge to be simply making a paper aeroplane. The children will be required to make a portfolio of all of their ideas, the process of making their device, research behind flight of an object, and pictures to go with it. The peer assessment would occur when the class showcase their final designs. The self-assessment would come after this, so the children know how other designs in the class performed. The portfolios would be submitted around about a week after the showcase. This would allow the class to add their final touches to the portfolios without worrying about the practical side of things. Feedback would be given when the portfolios are returned. Overall, this unit promotes creative thinking skills. It also engages the children to think outside the square in a fun and creative way.